Good morning, guys. I'm here making a video about the Juggalo March. So basically, I went to the Juggalo March on Saturday. It's now Monday. And I think it was a great experience for everybody. I was pleasantly surprised that everyone seemed to be peaceful and get along. There were no incidences. They originally were afraid that the pro-Trump rally and the Juggalo March might meet and mix and become violent. But that was actually not what any of these protests or rallies were about this weekend. It was actually all about being peaceful and showing that you're just a regular person that likes a band, or you're a regular person that likes Trump, whatever it is. You know, it just proves that you can have peaceful marches and peaceful things can happen as far as rallies go. So basically, I'll start with a little bit of history. You found it. I have never really been a fan of ICP. They weren't really my thing. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But I've always kind of known who they were just through friends, and just because they were very popular when I was in high school. That's when they sort of hit their peak, and like I said, a lot of my friends listened to them, and they are a lot of times categorized in one of my favorite bands genres. So they were on my radar, but like I said, I never really got into them. I can appreciate their music. I think that they are not as horrible as everyone makes them out to be, and they wouldn't be worth $30 million if they were horrible. So when we got there, things hadn't really started yet, but there were a lot of juggalos there with signs and face paint, and you know, it was actually kind of funny to see like tourist people. Since I live here, I'm used to seeing like every single type of person there is. I am like not shocked by anything, basically. I mean, growing up here, you just see every type of person, every race, every color, every crazy whatever that you can see here, you know? So it's a very diverse area. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't think they realize how diverse it is here all the time. Not just like on the weekend when tour groups come in. It's all the time. So we got there, and I went with my fiance. My baby was with my parents, and we didn't really bring a sign. We really just kind of wanted to go check it out and stand up for them and take pictures, actually, because we're both into photography. So we brought our nice camera. I call it the nice camera. It's a Canon Rebel. Although it's a bit dated now, it still takes amazing pictures, but not as good as some of the cameras out now, things like 10 years old. So my fiance got some good pictures, but basically, yeah, I just saw people walking around with signs. There were a lot of people with face paint. The girls have really cute outfits on. I think that their style is very cute. It's very almost like a psycho cheerleader clown. I don't know. That's sort of what I gathered. I would actually like to do like a video or a blog on Juggalo girl fashion, because I find it very interesting how they all have their own little style. But I think that, and the boys are usually just t-shirt and like big pants. I told my fiance I honestly felt like I had stepped into a Hot Topic from high school from the 2000s, because it was just so funny. Everyone looked like they were from the year 2000 when the big pants were in style with their ICP shirts, and like it just cracked me up, because I literally feel like I was in a Hot Topic from the year 2000. And so my fiance pointed out, well, they haven't bought clothes since 2000 because you can't get Juggalo clothes anymore. So I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, your kick pants will last you for the rest of your life, right? Or your Jinkos, right? So that was pretty funny. But like I said, everyone was super peaceful. You know, I think that a lot of these people might look a little rough around the edges, but you know, they might have grown up kind of rough. They might have had, you know, issues with whatever it is. You know, sometimes people grow up and they're just in a bad family, or their dad leaves or the mom leaves and the parent has to work, so they're home alone all the time, and they turn to the streets and their friends. for comfort, and they might get into some things that might be, you know, maybe not too bad, or too good. So, you know, I don't like to judge books by their covers, and I honestly cannot stand for the FBI saying that they're gang members, because of who I've known in the past that likes this band, and from everything that I've gathered reading and everything on the internet, which I know you can't believe everything on the internet, but just judging from the protest and judging from friends that I've had that were into this kind of music, these people are not gang members. That's just the bottom line. And the FBI, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they even showed up on their radar. I don't know why these people are being harassed for liking over-the-top clown music, as some people put it. I get it. I think they're absolutely ridiculous, but that's what they want to be. They want to be ridiculous. They want to put on a show. They're theatrical. It's, if you go to a play, right, these people are over the top. Their faces are over the top. Even just watching, like, Disney stuff, right, like in the parks, these people's faces are, like, over the top. Like big faces, big movements, big everything. And so these people are the same way, and they had been quoted as saying that their shows are, you know, very over the top, because otherwise it would just be two guys standing there rapping. So that's boring. Nobody wants to just go to a rap show. You want to go to a show. And I understand that they call it carnival theatrics. I guess that was sort of their shtick, and it's stuck, and these people just love it. And that's just how they feel as people. That's how they identify. And I identify as a lot of different things. I don't identify as a juggalo, but these people, it's their lifestyle. This is their lifestyle. I'm not saying they go out every day with their face paint on and their whatever. Yeah, you might wear an ICP shirt out in public, or you have an ICP sticker on your car, or whatever. Just a small symbol that this is who I am as a person. And it's the same thing as being a Justin Bieber person or a Korn kid, which is what I consider myself. A Korn kid is someone who's a huge fan of Korn and loves their music and would pretty much die for this band, which I would do. I'm also a huge No Doubt fan, so those girls used to be referred to as Gwenabes when they would dress like her. A Gwenabe is someone that emulated Gwen Stefani. So there's all these different things out there. I mean, they call it a Kiss Army. You know, Kiss fans is the Kiss Army. So, I mean, I don't understand. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand this classification, and I cannot stand for people being harassed over music that they like. That's just crazy. So that's just my thoughts and opinions, but I do have a little funny anecdote to share before I finish up here. My fiance is very, very, very into politics stuff and different groups that like to go to protests and whatnot. So I saw these people walking around, and I wasn't quite sure what they were. I wasn't sure if they were juggalos or what they were, because they didn't have face paint on, but they had like bandanas on over their face like this, and they had like ski mask goggles on, and you couldn't like see their face, and they're walking around with like backpacks. They have like knee pads on. They're all in black, which is fine, whatever. They honestly looked like they were out of a video game. I was like, okay, what are you guys doing? Like I said, I don't really care what anyone's doing, but I'm not trying to get violent. I don't want anyone being violent. And the fact that the Juggalos were there and they specifically said that these people were not welcome and they showed up anyway is crazy. But they're going to show up no matter what. So these are the Antifa. They're called Antifa, anti-fascists, I guess. And they're against Nazis. But they're also against everybody else. So what they do is it seems that way. I guess they're not against everybody else, but it seems that way. So what they do is they go to protests and they say, we're here to shut down the protest. You guys are violent. And they'll start swinging. Like, they want to fight. Like, they will just start swinging out of nowhere and start fights. And then it would be, they started a fight, but the Juggalos got crazy, right? That's how they twisted around. So at one point, they were sort of near us, and my fiance and I were sitting down kind of just watching everything and not really like doing anything yet. And this guy was like standing next to us, and they're discussing like what they're gonna do or something, right? So they're deciding if they want to go back to the Trump rally or if they want to stay at the Juggalo rally. And I hear this guy next to me, and he says to whoever, I'm not leaving them here alone. And he's talking about the Juggalos, right? And now there's like 10 of these guys, maybe 12. And there's probably a good 2,000 Juggalos, including people, maybe not even, I'm saying Juggalos as far as people who identify as Juggalos, but there were people there supporting them as well. So there's probably about 2,000 to 3,000 people that were supporting the Juggalos. So I'm just like trying not to laugh because this guy is so ridiculous. He sounds so ridiculous. And I remember thinking in my head, these Juggalos outnumber you and your little group, dude. So you mess with one Juggalo and you're messing with the whole family, because they call themselves a family and that's great. But you're messing with the whole family when you try to mess with one of them. I'm sorry, but they all have each other's backs. And that's what I really like about this subculture, is that they will do anything for anyone, especially for one of their family members. Considered a Juggalo, they will give you the shirt off their back. They're just regular people. They're not gang members. They're not crazy. They're not clowns. They're not anything other than law-abiding citizens who were extremely peaceful and just were standing up for their rights. Now, these Antifa people, they just want to start a fight. Like I said, if they mess with one Juggalo, you're going to have 10 Juggalos coming after you. Like, that's just how it works. I'm sorry. And I think that goes for anything. Just like a biker gang or anything like that is going to be the same thing. So eventually, these tards left, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't call them that, but they were really ridiculous. They were acting like they were in some sort of video game, and everyone's their enemy, and they gotta take them all out. And if you really think that you and 10 of your friends are gonna take on 2,000 Juggalos, you need to move on. So I guess they finally realized they were outnumbered and that there was absolutely nothing they could do. So they moved on to the Trump rally. And I was reading about the Juggalo March and the Trump March. Now, the Juggalos way outnumbered the Trump March, or the Trump rally. There were only about, I think, 400 people at the Trump rally. I guess the Trump rally was a very specific thing, a very specific group of Trump supporters that believe certain, like, things. But I don't think that the group has very many people, obviously, and not everyone believes what these people believe, so it's hard for me to explain. I read about it, but can't exactly remember, but apparently the Antifa had gone over there, and they said they were there to shut down the protest or something like that, and police were like, I don't think so, and they made them take their masks off, and they probably were pretty discouraged at that point that they knew they weren't getting the Juggalos to, you know, go after them, because they specifically said on their website that they weren't going to be violent, and there's all these things they weren't going to do, but this was allowed, but this wasn't. And one of the main things was that there was no violence allowed. Even if someone was violent towards you, you were not allowed to be violent towards them. They were going to shut down the protest if anything got violent, and that went for both sides, actually. I was reading an article, and I guess they both had permits. Everything was legally done. It wasn't illegal, but that at any time, if things got crazy, that they were allowed to shut down the protests. And I agree with that. You know, if things get crazy and out of control, shut it down. That's fine. But nothing crazy happened. Everything went great. And the Antifa got what they deserved. And I think anyway. And, yeah, it was just a great day in this city. I'm very happy that all these people came and stood up for themselves and got to see this beautiful city, maybe for the first and only time they've ever been able to come here. That to me is pretty cool, that they were able to come to the nation's capital where everything happens in our government, and be able to experience it and have their march on Washington to prove, hey, look, we're just regular people. I mean, it's basically just like going to an ICP concert. And I understand that their concerts can get a little crazy. They like to throw trash. They like, the boys, especially, they like to get crazy, crowd surfing, whatever it is. Girls maybe sometimes take their clothes off. Whatever. You know what? Any concert is going to have crazy stuff happening. I don't care which concert it is. If it's like a rock concert or a rap or something a little more, underground, it's going to get a little cray when you have people drinking and maybe smoking weed or doing whatever else, And the thing is that most people don't understand the Juggalos and what they're all about. I know my dad was kind of like, I don't understand this. Like, he's like, I don't understand what they're all about. He thinks that they're a bunch of thugs. They look like thugs, he said. And they look like they're up to no good, which is not true. That's not true. And nobody, I don't think any of them go around with face paint on every day. I mean, yeah, the concerts they might, or a gathering, or maybe they have Juggalo parties where they face paint. I don't know. I'm, never got into that culture. It's not really my thing. But it is a thing for a lot of people. The music means a lot to a lot of people. The music has helped people, stop harming themselves, as far as like, there was a girl who said she cut herself and she stopped cutting because of ICP. There's people that have gotten out of, bad situations, and ICP has saved their life as far as the music goes. There's just so many stories of this band helping so many people, and I understand that they may romanticize things, but they grew up pretty rough in Detroit, and they saw a lot of these things firsthand, and they're just rapping about what it was like to live in Detroit and how bad it was, and a lot of these people can relate to that. So, to me, it's really nothing more than a Justin Bieber fan or whatever, like I said, a Korn fan or anything like that. But I just hope that the government has heard them loud and clear, and that they will stop being harassed and discriminated against for how they identify as people. It's a very, very sad thing to have to live in this world and have these people being discriminated against just for liking a musical group. I would be beside myself if someone fired me from a job or took my child away because I like the Korn band, or I like Rob Zombie, or I like any of these things. I mean, Rob Zombie is just as over the top as ICP is. I mean, look at his stuff. He's crazy. I mean, he's awesome. I think he's freaking awesome. I think he's insanely intelligent. He has a doctorate in music. Does anybody know that? Does anybody know that he has a doctorate in music? Probably not, but he does. And he's extremely, insanely smart, but all people see is this crazy persona, and that's not really who he is. That's just his stage presence, So these ICP guys, their stage presence is this crazy clown carnival, but they're really just regular people just trying to get by. That's it. So, all I can say in conclusion is, I just hope the FBI pulls their heads out of their asses and realizes that these are just regular people and they need to take them off the gang watch list or whatever the hell it is, and that I stand and will support anyone in that situation. And there was a girl that spoke, and I really want to get in touch with her. Her name's Jessica. I'm going to try to find her. Jessica something. I'm going to try to look her up again. But I actually want to talk to her because I want her to know that what I do for a living, that would be perfect for her, because she said she's had trouble finding a job and all of this stuff. And I want to maybe help her, like, do something for herself instead of living in this horrible, trying to find herself a job and not being able to get one and all this stuff. I think I can try to help her. So if anybody knows who that girl was named Jessica that lives in Manassas, please let me know how to get in contact with her, and I will shout you guys out in the comments. Or if Jessica, if you're watching this, please contact me. I would love to talk to you. I heard your story, I read your story, I think it's awful, and I live near you, so I definitely want to talk some business talk with you and see if maybe this would be something you'd be interested in doing. Because I lost my job when I was pregnant and I didn't know what I was going to do. Same type of thing, discrimination, the whole 9 yards, and I figured this out. So that's all that I have for now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this goofy little video, and I'll talk to you all later.